Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Gab bopping away, loves the music. Don, what did the twins get from Father Christmas?
Oh my days, far too much noise, far too many toys to play with. And they don't play with them in the playroom.
Oh no.
No, they bring them into the living room.
Oh no.
Carnage everywhere.
Did you see what Don was drinking over Christmas?
Yes. No.
Red wine and Coke.
Oh, Gab's gonna love that.
Yeah, I saw you tweet that out.
Look at him. Apparently, since the 70s, though, the Spanish have been drinking it.
Not when I was there.
No.
Well, honestly, I mean, I put it on social media, and the amount of tweets I had, or X's, whatever they're called these days, Spanish name in the 70s have been drinking it. I think down in South Africa they've got a name for it. It was actually quite nice.
Confirmation on that your followers are a bunch of muppets.
It was standard. Well, they're following the Muppets, so it was nice, though.
Don, Gab, would that be a beverage that would attract you?
I've genuinely never heard of red wine and Coke. I don't doubt it. I'm assuming if you have, one of those $3 bottles of red wine with a twist-off cap, maybe it tastes better if you pull like a liter bottle of Coke in it. I don't know. Knock yourself out. I'd probably rather drink that with Coke than drink some really bad red wine straight. But
Try it, Gab.
Don, if you have nice red wine, if you have
red wine.
proper, and you pour Coke into it.
Because someone told me it was really nice. That was a bit of a trend, so I thought.
It's a bit trend in the 70s in Spain.
No, as in like it's a bit of a trend over here. And I thought, well, I've never heard of it before, like Gab, so I will try it because I like red wine. And my girlfriend likes Coke, and I thought this is this new little drink that's going around. I'll try it. Really nice. Then apparently I found out Spaniards have been drinking it for 50 years.
There were some Spaniards, I think, Don.
No, I don't think so.
Did Craig pull over when Manchester United scored their equaliser? Also, did Craig get a speeding ticket when Forest scored their second?
Getting a bit old this now, isn't it?
Well, that's it. We move on from that. What's the deal with Manchester United? Well, we talked about it. Gab, do you want to throw in your 2 pennies on Manchester United?
I'm completely lost on this.
I see you never mentioned
roll
the bottom,
on Ratcliffe and Brailsford and Jean-Claude Blanc, and you know what? It's easy to point to all the rip-roaring success they've had at Lausanne and at Nice, and you just get lost, right? It's gotten to the point where you almost feel sorry. Where I feel sorry for Ten Hag, because I'm always imagining him after games and saying, what kind of explanations can he give? What can he talk about? Did he control the game this time? Were they unlucky? Were there things he really liked? I genuinely don't know. It's almost unfair to put him up there after matches. Almost.
Dan, you're going to ask the second part
I just saw the second part. Do you guys remember those summer episodes when Stevie tried to convince Dan that Manchester United overperformed last year?
Yeah.
Well, you just...
What do you think?
What do you mean?
He thinks you said Arsenal wouldn't get in the top 4.
Yeah. What do you think?
What do I think about what?
Well, the second part of the question.
So did you have Manchester United finishing in the top 4 in your predictions?
No.
You sure?
I am 100% sure.
Oh.
Good try, Dan.
I know, I was trying.
You were trying.
I couldn't remember.
You went for the gamble.
So
there.
who did you have in the top 4 then?
So you thought I would just...
If United are not in there, who's in there?
Yeah, who did you have in your top 4?
Chelsea?
Newcastle, along with the usual 3.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Say yeah, like you're proud.
Yeah. Well, I have, yeah.
Obligatory percentage question for Don. Percentage chance Ten Hag makes it to the end of the season?
No.
I'm like Gab. I keep saying I feel sorry for him.
I don't. Sorry for him. Why?
Because he's just got so many.
Listen.
He's got so many problems and so many wasters and so many guys that
Tell you
should
what,
be playing
Don.
for Man United.
Don,
He's got to stick a team out there, and he can't trust them.
Don.
Answer the question.
Don.
I think it's a 70%.
Don, let me tell you something. For all the problems Erik Ten Hag's got in this world, he's not drinking red wine and Coke.
Hey,
No.
judging by some of his team picks, he might need to get on it.
And by the way, when somebody tells him to drink red wine and Coke, even he's got the...
He's got to go.
Even he's got the nous to go, get out of here.
Well, he needs to get on it then.
You go,
They've lost 14 games this season. Stevie, you like this one.
Oh.
In Liverpool's worst ever season, their crisis season last season, Stevie, they lost 14 games. Man U have lost 14 games already. And we're halfway through the season.
David Moyes
Have
lost
that, Stevie.
16.
Oh, there
I
we
like
go.
that. I like that one, Don.
Oh, that's enough stats. Red wine and coke. Get it on the table.
Happy New Year, Craig. Who has a better chance of a top 6 finish? Chelsea, Manchester United or Newcastle?
Top 6?
Chelsea won't.
Yeah.
Chelsea won't.
Is that the coke man?
It's Coke Man's.
Better chance.
It's Newcastle, man.
They're having well, you might have noticed they're having their own problems at the moment.
Well, they've regressed, haven't they?
Right, I'm going to say.
Apparently.
I'm going to say Newcastle.
Newcastle?
That's how bad it is.
Yeah, you agree, Stevie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, do you?
With Newcastle?
Yeah.
Yeah, why are you being aggressive?
Oh, I'm just...
he's been off for a
apparently
week.
somebody on this panel said that Newcastle had regressed.
Well, they have regressed.
No, they haven't.
Oh my God, Stevie, don't do it again.
What have they done? Improved?
They finished in the top 4 last year.
How can you have 13 players out injured and then you turn around and say they've regressed? Had they had no injuries and they were sitting where they were, then I would have agreed with you.
So if Manchester,
you cannot.
So if Manchester United
You
regressed?
cannot. What do you mean, Manchester? Since the first game of the season, Man United have been garbage.
But look at all their injuries.
Well, they didn't have any injuries against Wolves.
What do you
The first
mean?
game of the season at Old Trafford when they were absolute garbage.
Why-
They've been absolute garbage all season, regardless of whether they're injuries or not. Newcastle having 13 injuries and still go about it in a manner in which we'll all still watch.
Oh,
Don't start
Stevie,
telling me
don't
they've
be
regressed.
like that.
That's an absolute lot of garbage. They've got
Newcastle
13 injuries,
right.
and you're telling me you're going to turn
Have they
around
got
and say
13?
that they've regressed.
Yeah, of
What's
course
an
they've
absolute
regressed.
lot
They
of
finished
nonsense?
top 4. You see them
Oh,
against
shut up.
Forest.
I mean, don't be stupid, Dan. As I told you, in simple terms.
Listen,
If
take
they
a
had
breath,
had the
put your
same
earpiece in.
players, if they'd had the same players all season and were sitting where they were, then I would start agreeing with you.
Right.
But you can't say they've regressed
So how would you-
when they've had 13 players missing.
So how would you describe
Seriously.
it?
They've had a ton of injuries the whole season.
So have
So why are
Spurs?
you going to turn around? Would you get rid of the manager then?
I didn't say anything about the manager.
Why wouldn't you if they regressed that badly? How can you regress that badly then? And keep the manager?
Wait, why is the level now badly? They've just regressed,
Well,
that's fine.
All I
That's a fact.
asked you a question was, would you get rid of the manager?
No.
And you said no.
No, but that-
why wouldn't you get rid of the manager if the team's regressed?
Because they haven't regressed that badly yet.
Don't look at
Come on,
me.
man. You're talking garbage,
I
Dan.
don't think I am, Stevie.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Trust your Uncle Stephen. Yeah.
Everyone has got injuries. Everyone has got problems. Newcastle finished top 4
But you
last year,
can't-
but it's okay to say they've
Fun-
regressed.
let's take Newcastle out of the picture. Right.
This is
Fundamentally,
Let me know when
if
this
one
is done, will
team, if one team finishes there,
Yeah.
and then 8 months later they've got 13 injuries
Where's the
and are
13?
there,
They've got
are you going
13.
to start talking about regressing? It's not. You can't judge a team when they've got 13 first-team players out. That's madness.
Don, have they regressed?
Stevie, I love you. Well, they have, mate.
You can't believe you're asking.
Was the Newcastle fan?
I'd love to back you up,
Explain
Stevie,
to me.
but-
Well, Don, explain to me how you can judge. So Eddie Howe has to go then. With all the
Why do
money
you
they've
doing
spent,
that, Lee?
and they've regressed.
No,
then
he doesn't
Eddie-
have to go.
Well, why's that?
He can get the 13 injuries back, and then they can improve again. Absolutely, but they have chucked a few games away. They lost at Luton a couple of weeks ago.
Gab,
I get your injuries.
would you like
You
to?
can't.
Okay, if the original question is who's likelier to finish in the top 4, Newcastle or Manchester United, I'm going to lean Manchester United.
That's
because I
not the
do
question.
think
It's the
that-
we've now regressed.
Yeah, move on. Eh? All right, thanks.
The question is, have Newcastle regressed?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a manager who's never played European football and the rhythm of playing Champions League football, certainly. You have all the injuries on top of that. I think you give the manager a little bit of a pass on that one, which is why you don't sack him. If by regress, and by the way, Stevie, it's not always 13 injuries. Some of those injured guys, like Sven Botman, for example, are back. But I think the question is he going to do better now that they're not playing European football? I think absolutely yes. But then you also have to recognize that last season they did a great job finishing 4th. But last season was also a season in which Liverpool and Chelsea and Spurs, who are all other teams that are plausible in the top 4. Liverpool and Chelsea habitual in the top 4. They all had absolute stinkers. Chelsea and Spurs had 3 different managers. Liverpool, as we heard, had those 14 defeats that Stevie talked about. So obviously that makes it easier to get into the top 4. So weigh all those things up. I think they've gone back a little bit, but you give them a pass.
They've regressed. There we go. Good. They've regressed. There we got there in the end.
Gone back a little bit.
Gone back. Regressed. Perfect.
Back.
Stevie's wrong.
Forward. What's forward?
I think so.
Start, bench, drop these managers for Manchester United, Steve.
Ireland, by the way.
What?
Oh, you got yourself all excited.
I'm roasted.
Steve, do you want to take your tie off? You're not going to collapse on us.
I'll be all right.
Conte, Potter, and Steve Nichols.
Well, it's got to be Potter's definitely got to get the job, isn't he?
Potter?
I mean, the thing is with Conte, at least he would put a rocket up them.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
What about yourself?
No, it's not.
No. That'd be fun.
No.
Stevie, do you have any positive words for Liverpool's season so far? It always seems like you're very negative despite the results.
I don't think I've been overly negative. I think I've basically said that from the middle to the front that they'll score goals and create chances. But defensively, I'm a little worried. Now, the stats don't back that up. I think Liverpool, as far as conceding goals in the Premier League, are as good as anybody. But I must admit, I maybe the fact that I do follow the team closely and I was a defender, maybe I see things, slightly exaggerated mistakes, maybe.
Right.
So I don't think I've been that negative.
Well, that's what the Liverpool Echo says.
I know.
Don, percentage chance West Ham will qualify for the Champions League via the league or winning the Europa League?
I don't think they'll squeak into the top 4. As much as David Moyes is doing an unbelievable job. Percentage chance Europa League, some good sides in there. I think it's about a 30.
30%?
Well, that's high. To win the Europa League.
Yep.
With all the teams. There you go. Confident.
There you go.
They've not regressed though.
No.
They
Have they? I don't know. Well, let's get the litmus test. Dan, have they? West Ham?
Oh, they've been brilliant.
Okay. No, just I bow to your superior knowledge. That's why I asked you.
So good to have you back, Stevie. All hot and sweaty. For Stevie, when a team like Chelsea concedes loads of goals from open play crosses, is on the manager or the players?
I mean, it's got to be on both, but with the experience that they've got, it's one thing to make a mistake, but it's another thing to keep making the same mistake. And it seems like that's what they're doing, which is kind of strange when you've got Thiago Silva in there who should be able to organise everybody around them. So I would suggest a lot of it is on the players, but there's no question if things are continually going wrong, then the manager has to do something, whether it's on the training field or whatever, to change it.
Did you want to add something, Gab?
Yeah, sorry. Did you say with the experience that they've got? I mean, other than Thiago Silva and Raheem Sterling, who has any kind of experience
everyone's
on this
just
Chelsea
picking on
team?
you, Stevie.
I can be as critical as anybody.
Stevie's having a stinker.
Well, let me tell you something.
So many of these guys are young, so many of them are new, they're thrown
the reason
together.
so you asked the question. So the answer is easy. Thiago Silva's there. That's the reason why he's playing, is to organise the young guys around him. That's his job.
Right, but Stevie, sorry, I know you played and you coach, right?
But you can't.
So you can have the experienced guy organizing and telling people what to do, but there's going to be situations where you as a player, even though you have wise old Stevie telling you what to do, where you have to read situations on your own and make decisions on your own. Right? It's not like Thiago Silva's a puppeteer and he's got his hands up by Yashil's backside or Disasi and is moving them around. At some point, having individuals with experience who make the right decisions has to matter too, right?
So I don't know the stats, But I'm going to guess most of these guys have had probably upwards of nearly 100 first-team games.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how long do you need to wait before somebody keeps making the same mistake? I mean, seriously, how much experience is it number 200?
At
Is it
18,
300?
by the time you're 22, you've had 100 games, and you're experienced. You're a little Thiago Silva at 22. Perfect.
Craig, was the Spurs job
You're
too?
right, by the way.
Craig, was the
Should be. Sorry, though. I do beg your pardon.
Was the Spurs job too big for Nuno, Craig? Is a job managing a less glamorous team like Forest or Wolves more suited to him?
Possibly. I can't. To be honest, his time at Spurs for me is not very memorable at all.
not
If you ask me back,
How long did it last?
it just felt that he was. And Ange Postecoglou certainly wasn't the first choice for the job. There's no doubt about that. But I think Nuno was even further when he got it down the list. But you know, he clearly has got good experience. But yeah, I don't. Well, it looks like it, doesn't it? I would imagine.
Final question is for Stevie. Looking through the records, I don't see that you ever played against Rangers or Celtic in an official match for Liverpool. Is that true? Is that something you're sorry you never got to experience? Did you play against them for someone else?
No, I think that's true. Played against Celtic. We played against Celtic in a friendly before we restarted playing in the old First Division after Hillsborough.
Right.
So the first game we played was against Celtic at Parkhead, just as a kind of to get a game behind us before we started back in the league, because we never played a league game for 2 weeks.
Right.
After the Hillsborough disaster, so we played against Celtic. I did play against Celtic in a proper game for Ayr United in a competition called the Dryborough Cup, which is
the what cup?
the Dryborough Cup.
What's a Dryborough?
Which is basically the Carabao Cup in Scotland.
Okay.
At Parkhead, and we beat them 2-1.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
And Dryborough was the sponsor?
Yes.
What is that?
No idea.
And you played obviously
There's half a
against,
chance it's alcohol.
You played against Liverpool in the UEFA Cup, was it, over the 2 legs?
Yeah, UEFA Cup.
That was huge. I was young, I remember that.
You were young.
No, what I mean
was
is
huge,
that got a lot of attention.
Well, yeah, because it was live on BBC.
Yes.
So it was David Pleat,
Yeah.
his old boss, and John Motson commentating, Hansen in the studio.
Maka scored that game.
Maka scored a brilliant
That was the
goal,
game where Maka scored the equaliser at Celtic Park. He describes it as the best goal he's scored in his career. Wasn't the best from my point of view, watching him. But yeah, we played 2-2 at Celtic Park, 0-0 at Anfield. They went through and away goals. But great atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, midweek games, both at Anfield and at Celtic Park. Michael Owen actually scored, I was telling you the other day.
Yeah.
God knows what age he was. I think he might be 16 or it might have been 17. He scored the first goal at Celtic Park to give him a 1-0 lead. My God. Particularly back in those days when he was that age. He was lightning.
It's rapid, yeah.
He was rapid. But yeah, that was a good experience just to play. It wasn't the best Liverpool side, I have to say.
Right.
It wasn't a Liverpool side.
Was Don in it?
No. He wasn't in it. Rob Jones, Matt Wright, Carol Hines, Riedler, Michael Owen, Maka, Michael Thomas, Paul Ince. It was a good side, but it wasn't challenging for the league.
And Don, you could have moved to Scotland but didn't.
Yeah, bit of a regret that one, Dan. It was not that I regret going back to West Ham for the second time, but it was I was at Sunderland at the time, and it was a choice between West Ham or Glasgow Rangers. Dick Advocaat was the manager, 2000, Champions League footy at the time, and I was so drawn to play for Rangers. It was so close. Honestly, it was that close. Put my head on the pillow one night. I went, I've got no idea where I'm going.
What did you have? Did you have a red wine and a coke?
A red wine and a coke.
And went,
I didn't know
West
it at the
Ham.
time. I didn't know it at the time.
So you just
And I
went
to West Ham, and it was.
Was West Ham paying you more, Don?
Pardon?
Were they paying you more?
No, it was basically I was trying to think how many great games I'd be playing up at Rangers, and it was obviously Celtic twice, and maybe Hearts and Aberdeen, and then I was thinking like West Ham, and you got Old Trafford, and you got Anfield and Goodison and Spurs and all the brilliant sides. And I'm thinking, I've got to go back to the Prem. Like, I've got to stay in the Prem, sorry. But honestly, it was so close, and I sit here now, having done West Ham twice. and it's nothing on West Ham, but as I played for them originally, I'd like to have had Glasgow Rangers on the CV.
That is it. That brings us to what beverage of choice will it be now, Don, before bed?
Red wine and Coke. Just the one.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thanks to Gab as well. We'll be back tomorrow, New Year's Eve. Are you both here tomorrow?
No.
Craig will be here.
Yes.
Oh, Shaka's here as well. So that's all right.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so. Be sure to join us. We'll be reflecting on those 2 games. Of course, Spurs in action against Bournemouth and it's Arsenal Fulham.